Hi, this is Wagner Kamakura, and in this tutorial, I'm going to show how you can use my analytic tools for Excel to translate a set of text documents into a word map. Before that, a few words, if you pardon the pun, about my word map compared to the typical word cloud you find on the internet. The most popular word clouds you can find in the internet only depict word frequency. The only information contained in these word clouds is the relative frequency of the words across the documents. The relative location of the words in the cloud is only dictated by the relative sizes of the fonts. The fact that two words are near or far from each other in a word cloud has absolutely no meaning. For example, this particular word cloud here, which is very common, only shows the relative frequency of the words. The location of the words is only set up there to produce the most compact word cloud possible. In contrast, my word map depicts both the relative frequency and the proximity or affinity of the words across the original documents. So in my word map, the relative location of the words is dictated by their affinity to the extent that they appear in the same documents. So this is the example here. You can see in my word map that Cabernet and Sauvignon tend to appear together or close to each other across documents. And the size of the font is proportional to the relative frequency of the words in our sample of documents. Now, what does WordMap do? WordMap is in fact a combination of three tools. First, it does some very basic text mining. It extracts the most frequent words in the original text, does some simple stemming, combining words that share the same root of the type wood, wooded, woody, and filters pronouns, prepositions, symbols, short words with one, two, or three letters, and the most common words in the English language. So it tries to avoid depicting these words. Second tool is just dummy coding. It dummy codes each document in terms of the most common extracted words in them, and then does some mapping. Either does a multidimensional scaling of words by frequency and proximity or affinity across documents, or does a document by word multiple correspondence analysis. In other words, produces a map of words, at the same time it produces a map of documents. In this illustration of word map, I'm going to use this collection of almost 700 red wine reviews. Each line contains one wine review, and the first column contains a quality rating, where plus represents a rating that was on the bottom 40% of all reviews, and an ampersand represents a rating that was on the top 40% of all the reviews, just to give a sense of quality as perceived by the reviewer. And to produce the word map, we're going to go to Add-ins, Analytic Tools, Word Map. And we're going to highlight the range containing all the text, where the first column identifies each document. So each line is going to be a document, some kind of document ID. In this case, our document ID is going to be a symbol representing the quality of the wine. And the second column contains the text of the document, up to 1,000 characters. So the data is already highlighted from A1 to B679. And as soon as I click OK, the text mining is going to be done. So we're going to be processing 678 documents. And as I press OK here, it's already processing the text. And it's asking how many words do you want to keep. So it's going to do all the filtering, stemming, etc. And is going to keep only the most common, the most frequent words, and ask for 120. So we're going to keep only the 120 most common words that were not filtered out. And this has already been done. So all the text mining has already been done. The most common word is fruit, followed by wine, finish, flavor, and so on. So here we can filter out certain words that are not that informative. We know that these are all wine reviews, so the word wine might not be that useful. For example, I can filter that out. All the text mining, stemming, filtering, etc. is already done. All the coding of each one of these documents has already been done and saved in memory. Now, WordMap is asking, what kind of map do you want? Yes would produce a map of document by words. That's a multiple correspondence analysis. While no would produce a multidimensional scaling of words by words. We're going to start with the multidimensional scaling. And what this is going to do is to analyze all the dummy codes, produce a distance matrix showing how similar or dissimilar each word is from every other word, or how much affinity pairs of words have. And what is that affinity? It is the extent to which they tend to appear in the same document. They seem to be associated with each other. And based on that data, is going to produce a map. So I'm going to use the word by word map. It is asking now, how do you want to represent frequencies? Do you want it to represent frequency by font size, which is a common thing done in word clouds? Or do you want to represent it in colors? The problem of representing frequency by font size is that the map gets distorted because highly frequent words are going to be in large font. And to avoid overlap, the map has to be distorted a bit. While if you choose to represent frequencies by color, every word has exactly the same font, and the map is not as distorted as the one using font size. I'm going to use font size following tradition. So no for font size. And there it is. What we have here is a multidimensional scaling map of word by word. And in this tab called adjacencies, we have the distance matrix, a matrix showing for every pair of words how often they happen together. Now we're going to produce a document by word map. And this is going to produce two related maps. A DocuMap, where documents are going to be placed at the center of the words they contain, and a word map, where words are going to be put at the center of the documents that contain them. And this is done through multiple correspondence analysis. So I'm going to click OK. And this time I'm going to use colors to represent frequencies rather than font size, which is going to produce a less distorted map because all words are going to have exactly the same font size. And here we have the word map. This is the map showing all the words at the center of the documents that contain them. And here we have the DocuMap. Each dot is a document, and the document is placed at the center of the words contained in the document. And as you recall, we represented the top 40% ratings with ampersand and the bottom 40% ratings with plus signs to see whether or not there is any relationship between the words in the word map and the quality of the wine as perceived by the reviewers. Quite honestly, it's very hard to see any relationship between quality and the words. Okay, I don't see any separation between the ampersands and the plus signs. But it's just an illustration of the other type of maps, the multiple correspondence analysis map that put documents as the center of the words they contain and words as the center of the documents that contain them.